I'm Jamie Kunke and I make skis out of wood. I think I was born in a particularly interesting time in skiing in Scotland, where I saw every year would be consistent snowfall across the Scottish mountains. And then as I turned into a teenager, that died away and it became really noticeable, this climate shift in Scotland. The idea of using a sustainable material to make skis was kind of obvious to me, because it would be awful if the skis were in any way sort of contributing to the warming of Scotland and less snow. People always think that they're going to be heavy and stiff and kind of cumbersome, but I've used wood exactly to counter those things about skis, actually. When you make a ski that's almost entirely comprised of wood, it's got like a feeling of life to it. I suppose it's like trying to rekindle the properties of the tree, you know, it's strong and flexible, which helps it stand up against wind and weather and everything. Maybe that's where the true beauty of the skis lies. It's like, maybe wood's the best thing for skis. I'd always aspired to be a kind of a one-man craftsman, harking back to old Norwegian ski makers in little sheds, steaming skis, you know. It was an enormous challenge to kind of rekindle some of these old skills in ski making. And there was hardly any literature, there was no courses you could do, so I had to learn it all by myself. And no one was doing it in Scotland, which I found totally amazing. We've got such a die-hard ski culture, but yet no one making skis. Start off with this big plank of wood, and we're going to feed it through the planer, and that'll level off both sides of it. That piece of wood is then cut into strips, which will form the laminated core of the ski. The way I design and make the insides of my skis was based on an old drawing. I think it was from the 20s. It was like an old patent by a Norwegian guy, and it was simple to make, and it was light, and it felt amazing to ski on. So they'll be turned on their side and then glued edge to edge, along with a few different other types of wood. So although the skis look as if they're almost one piece of wood, I suppose that's where the magic comes in of selecting and arranging them in a certain way. And that makes the skis feel alive rather than just lumps of plastic under your feet. So I'll send it through like maybe six, 7 times or something, until each side is down to about 2 mil and the middle is about 10. I've almost devoted kind of my existence to doing this job. I've based my whole life around it in some ways. It was quite unusual when I moved here that anyone was considering, especially if you were young, to move to the countryside to start a business. Some people kind of got it and some people totally didn't. Businessy type people didn't get it at all. It was such an amazing place, kind of surrounded by all these trees and sawmills and wood, and a lot of the time I'm quite inspired by just waking up and seeing the nature every day and seeing the mountains, and that drives my passion for making the skis as well. When you make something out of nothing, or you take an object and you turn it into something, I'm very conscious that I'm doing justice to the raw materials that I'm getting. It's taught me a lot about, if you're going to do something, you've got to have a really good justification for doing it. So when I make the skis, I know that I'm going to try and make a product that's going to last for, years and years. I declare it fit for skis. I think everyone needs to just really appreciate a beauty and simplicity. Maybe we just need a really good tool, to get the job done. Oh, absolutely magic. Yeah, it's pretty mad to think that they're all kind of around the world doing their thing. They're as far away as Japan, and then they've been in Antarctica and Greenland and skiing in the Rockies in Canada, and it's quite an amazing feeling. Have a bit more of this stuff in it. Once you've got the profile shaped in, that can then be taken into the laminating room and glued with all the subsequent layers to form the sandwich construction of the ski. With this sort of climate shift in Scotland, traditional ski resorts just might not have snow, so the snow might be somewhere else. And if you've got the right kind of ski, you can go and find it, and you can go up on your own terms and be a bit closer to the mountains and nature and everything. Although it looks like it might have some kind of design flair to it, almost everything is purely functional. An object that's so true to its purpose that it ends up being beautiful, but only because it's so useful. This is a completely kind of handmade product. They have in fact, been carved out by my hand from lumps of wood, and I think people really appreciate that in my skis, that I'm a real person putting everything into it. Hopefully the enjoyment that I get making them is reflected in that. The feeling of them when people see them and ski on them, kind of connected to the world a wee bit more.